West Vancouver man is preparing to visit Ukraine for the fourth time in 15 months to help rescue pets that were left behind when their owners were forced to flee bombed-out cities and towns.
Here we go. Sorry, get it.
Daniel Fine and Alex Orta's friendship took shape at this West Vancouver dog park, and so did an idea to help the four-legged victims of the war in Orta's home country of Ukraine.
I met this Ukrainian dude who was a neighbor, and our dogs were playing, and he was telling me about the war and about what was going on, and we were talking about the animals.
When Fine heard these stories of family pets wandering the streets of bombed-out cities and towns,
I decided I had to do something.
Stick. Give me that stick. Come on, give it to me. Hey, that's my stick, buddy.
I have always loved dogs. I feel like I myself am a dog. I identify as a dog. My pronouns are good boy. I just love dogs. I love animals in whole, but dogs especially. My neighbor Alex from Ukraine, my deep love of animals. It all came together like a puzzle. Two months after the beginning of the war, my friend Tana and I flew to Krakow, Poland. And from Krakow, Poland, we got on a train and took it to the border of Ukraine. We spent a month at the border working with these animals in the sanctuary. And it was very, very moving. I've had some grueling jobs in the past, working at the auto factories in Detroit, steel factories, but nothing like this. You know, at this sanctuary, I worked 18 to 22 hours a day, 7 days a week, cleaning cages, walking dogs, taking care of cats, and we helped 70 dogs, 22 puppies, and 8 cats.
Are you baby?
Where we walked them for 18 to 20 hours a day, multiple times a day. And all we could do is walk them, feed them, and give them as much love as we could in as short of time as we had.
I found out something about you. Are you ready? Boop, 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 boop.
One day I was out walking the dogs with Boden. He's a Romanian police officer, and that's when we heard some missiles hit. And it was Putin, and he was hitting the city of Lviv, which is across the border. And he was aiming for the electric substations and the trains to prevent the refugees leaving Ukraine to get to Poland and to the EU. And that's when I learned about the Russian double tap. The Russians fire their missiles, then they wait for the doctors, the medics, the fire crew, the police to show up to help, and then they fire again. It was at the border where I met Christina. She is definitely a woman of action. She's like G.I. Jane with a great sense of humor, but also very, very serious about getting the job done, and nothing stands in her way.
Christina, you're crazy. And you are hero.
I've never met anyone that can just stay so focused on a mission. It's incredible. So during the work that we were doing, she was driving a van, delivering food to shelters and to people that needed it, as well as rescuing animals and then bringing them back to the warehouse and getting them shipped out to Poland for help. Christina was thinking about signing up for the military. The military had 2 units that Christina would qualify for, and one had a really high mortality rate. We tried to persuade her that she's really gifted at animal rescue. She's an exceptional person. Some people think she's crazy, but she gives her strength, her heart, her whole being to animals. And that's when we decided to become partners or partner up on some missions.
Привет, меня зовут Кристина, я с Одесской области, город Подольск. Я заканчивала Одесскую академию строительства и архитектуры. По образованию я архитектор. На данный момент мы находимся в заброшенном садике, полуразбомбленном, в городе Марганец, Днепропетровская область, где на данный момент и мы проводим стерилизацию и отлов бездомных животных. Если сейчас мы не будем стерилизовать, особенно в этих заброшенных людьми, в этих городах, где остались одни животные, где на 100 животных осталось 5 людей, которые их кормят. Представляете, если каждый из этих животных сейчас начнет плодиться и приводить каждые полгода по 5 щенков. Потом эти щенки через полгода вырастают, и они опять плодятся. В итоге мы получим катастрофу. Они будут есть друг друга, они будут нападать на людей, они будут образовываться в стаи.
There was a real issue already, we knew, with street animals in Ukraine. So we knew this problem was just going to get worse. The shelters were already overcrowded. You know, there's the one shelter in Kyiv that had 3,000 dogs in it prior to the war, which is just not sustainable. One, of course, there's a reluctance to euthanize animals, and we see this in a lot of countries. You know, certainly Ukraine's not the only one, even within our own country, although I think there's been more education and more understanding about this situation. So then you had, you know, even prior to the war, animals coming into these shelters, but not really a good pipeline for animals getting out. You have a reluctance to euthanize. So what's going to happen? Of course, the population is just going to grow and grow and grow, and then you get disease, you get infighting. So animals are dying in those shelters. They're just dying a much slower death than euthanasia.
The enemy was 100% fatal, and its name is rabies.
The highest case fatality rates are in rabies. Rabies has the highest case fatality of any infectious disease, much over, you know, that 30-some% for COVID-19, or even the 70 to 80-some% or higher with some of the hemorrhagic diseases like Marburg and Ebola. So a lot of people may not understand that one of the reasons why rabies is partly neglected is because it has such a high case fatality. Trying to intervene for a rabies case is usually fraught with failure because of the virulence of the disease, the R word, most people are very afraid of it. They've been afraid of it for centuries. And so it gets neglected not only because of the high failure rate, almost everyone who develops rabies is going to die, but it's also very frustrating to try and intervene in human therapies, let alone trying to save an animal that's clinically rabid, because it's probably close to 100% going to end in failure.
Для человека они будут распространять бешенство. Нас ловцов даже, да, ну, конечно, мы все вакцинированы, но нас часто кусают собаки. Вот. Хорошо, что мы вакцинированы, но, мне кажется, 0,001% нашей планеты или вообще нашей страны вакцинирован. Смерть от бешенства, она ужасна. Это светобоязнь, это боязнь воды. И когда уже начинаются вот эти вот симптомы, если вы уже вы почувствовали, что у вас начались эти симптомы, обратного процесса нет. Вас ждет неминуемая смерть. И это не просто смерть, это мучительная смерть в агонии. Поэтому мы и здесь, поэтому мы хотим предотвратить распространение бешенства не только роста популяции бездомных животных, котов, собак, но и предотвратить распространение бешенства, смертельно опасного заболевания.
Зафіксовані випадки сказу в дуже багатьох областях України. По-друге, зграї собак, які кусають людей, які здичавіли. Але для мене це питання жорстокості і колеса сансари, бо нестерилізовані тварини, вони народжують цуценят, цуценята хворіють, помирають у муках, люди бачать це, також страждають, і це нескінченне коло, яке можливо зупинити тільки стерилізуючи тварин.
В основном любая вакцинация животных – это не только как профилактика для здоровья животных, но и для людей. Потому что, то есть, как говорят, человек лечит человека, а ветеринар – все человечество. Чтобы не распространялись никакие болячки.
During our first pilot mission to Kyiv, together with the White Angels organization and other volunteers, we set up an algorithm of work. We arranged clinics with local government. Then we found local veterinarians who were ready to work. After that, together with volunteers, we went on the streets, caught stray dogs, and we brought them back to the clinic for sterilization and vaccination. Also, we made announcements to pet owners to come, and we made the procedures to the clinic for free. After sterilization and vaccination, we gave pets back to their owners. Or sadly, we had to put them back on the streets because the shelters are overflowing and there's just no other place for them to go. After the Kyiv pilot mission, I realized the magnitude of the rabies danger. I was terrified and motivated at the same time. We decided to continue our missions into the most dangerous territories, east and south of Ukraine, just near the front lines and the border with Russia. We set up a new long-term goal to sterilize and vaccinate 6,500 animals. No matter what, no one could stop us. We decided to head south to Kharkiv and a few other villages, including Chigov, Izum, Lubitin. The goal this time was to do 1,000 animals. Wherever the Russians leave their path of destruction, that's where our help is needed most for these animals. Some villages have more animals than people. On the 10th of September 2022, Ukrainian military re-liberated the city of Izum during the counteroffensive of the Kharkiv region. Civilian mass graves with 440 bodies were found. Some showed signs of torture. It was so damn cold. I mean, I'm a Detroit boy and I thought I knew cold, but you go down to the eastern Ukraine or south and it was freezing. So cold that even the ATM machines were frozen. I couldn't use them. The Russians had hit the central market of the village that we were supposed to be in. And it was a deoccupied village, but it was surrounded by villages that are still occupied by the Russians, and you could hear the shelling around it.
Однажды я, это, кстати, было на нашей миссии, завернула, решила сократить дорогу и думаю, проеду через поле. Когда я уже была на середине поля, вокруг меня оказалось очень много... я смотрю, думаю, что это за таблички вокруг? Потом я присмотрелась, и я смотрю, там написано мины, мины, мины. Честно, наверное, как-то уже к этому привык. Будь что будет. Конечно, наверное, если бы я стала на мину, и у меня бы был там прилет адреналина, и там как-то было бы не по себе, но я все-таки верю в судьбу, и если суждено подорваться на мине, значит, так оно и будет. Ты видишь потенциальное животное, которое нужно отловить, да? Потом ты прицеливаешься. Если оно дико не идет к рукам, ты стреляешь снотворным с духовой трубки. Затем, когда животное выстрелили, обычно животное пугается и начинает бежать. Ну, в основном ты слепо бежишь за животным и пытаешься не догнать, но ты должен его, как охотник, выслеживать. То есть ты как бы подстрелил цель и ждешь, пока оно уснет. Это примерно 5 минут. Животное еще может бежать в адреналине, и где-то через 5 минут оно засыпает. Но часто животные могут побежать там в заминированные места. То есть это может быть заминированные подвалы, это может быть заминированное поле. Но прежде чем его преследовать, нужно принять некие правила. То есть
Я даже одета в защитной форме, потому что так легче спрятаться. Если ты будешь в красном, собака тебя быстрее обнаружит. А так ты прячешься и следишь за собакой как шпион. Но вот меня, допустим, вчера один укусил. Огромный, большой кобель, и я его расстрельнула, он уснул. Когда я его пошла забирать, еще уснул на территории военных. Пошла забирать его, военные разрешили пройти. Я его взяла на руки, пока его тащила к машине, он проснулся. Проснулся, начал ворваться, но вырвался и укусил раз. Вот. Но я его потом догнала, еще раз стрельнула, уже подъехала близко к машине и начала его опять грузить, он опять просыпается. Ну, вот иногда, конечно, наркоз, я его уже закинула в машину, уже он простерилизован, все. Но иногда бывает, стреляешь вроде в маленькую собачку наркозом, там, которую точно, от которого она точно должна уснуть, и она не засыпает, а бывает большую стреляешь дозой, там, меньше, которой нужно, а она раз-два и уснула. Это настолько индивидуально все. Вот это и точно. Но когда выпускаешь действительно каких-то хороших собак, у меня чувство, что я нашла им дом, мне как-то возвращать их обратно на улицу не очень тяжело. Еще такие, вот есть собаки, которые действительно нравятся на улице, это да. Но есть такие дружелюбные, которым так нужно человеческое внимание, а на улице они сталкиваются только с человеческой жестокостью в основном. И вот так, иногда я даю слабинку и забираю их в приют в надежде найти им дом, но пока многие из них так и сидят в приюте, потому что они взрослые, а люди хотят защитника. И чтобы влюбиться в эту собаку, нужно пару раз прийти в приют и познакомиться с ней, действительно в нее влюбиться. Вот что я чувствую. Эй, ты все, приехала? Скоро тут, да? Иди. Все, давай. Ой, в парк. Ой,
We run our missions simultaneously, so we have various clinics going on in different places, which means that we need multiple vehicles. And these vehicles we borrow from other charities, sometimes we rent them because the rental companies don't want them going into war zones. And they don't come in really good shape, and the bald tires and lots of problems. You can be in places that don't have self-service. The Russians are jamming the GPS signals. Google Maps doesn't work really well because it can take you right into the front lines. It's just a really scary time to have a stuck car or a broken car. I was working with almost all women because the men are at war and the women are there helping. My friend Tom told me the men are fighting for Ukraine, but the women are saving it. Final number on this mission in the Kharkiv region was 1,312. We vaccinated, we sterilized them, and we microchipped them. Near the end of the mission, I remember Christina looking at me and saying, "Dan, you look homeless." And I desperately needed a shower, a shave, and a good meal. We upped the goal for the March mission to 1,500 animals. I was worried about the team and their safety, but volunteers worked tirelessly to help these animals.
Миледи, да, Миледи собака-друг. В этих миссиях ты часто, возможно, чтобы не чувствовать себя одиноким, и я завела ее, одна из причин, это чтобы не чувствовать себя одиноким. Она постоянно с тобой, у тебя постоянно мысли о заботе, о ком-то, это первое. Второе, она как обучается сейчас как собака-поисковик.
A Russian missile hit right next to our clinic. I was talking to Christina, and the air raid sirens went off.
Буквально 10 минут назад сюда был прилет. Вы видели место обстрела. Там к магазину был прибился вот этот песик. У него есть подозрение на контузию, потому что у него дрожь по телу, вот, не струшится. В общем, сейчас его осмотрят наши врачи.
Будет, что мы должны сейчас проехать будем на блокпост и забрать на блокпосту у военных, прибившихся к ним две суки, и отвезти их в клинику на стерилизацию. А потом уже будем смотреть по спискам, обзванивать людей. Да, Кристина?
Собаки были отловлены на месте их обитания. Сейчас они едут на стерилизацию, вакцинацию, чипирование. Далее они будут или пристроены в новые семьи, или отправлены обратно в их среду. Но больше от них потомства не будет.
Дякую вам велике.
Оставляем собаке банку с кормом. Ставим на землю, собака подходит, смотрит корм. И она будет пытаться его открыть. И рядышком ключ ложим. Но так как у нее лапки не получается, она будет дорого. И в этот момент, когда она будет пытаться открыть банку, мы ее будем дистанционно стрелять.
Да?
собаки. Зараз у мене кішка теж є. От, теж прикольна кішка. Мишей ловить просто шикарно. Заїхали в хату, миші бігають, запахи оці. І ми заселив кішку, половила за 2 дні. Ну, і все. Ну, коли ми приручили, значить ми відповідаємо за них. Так виходить. Точніше, я навіть знаю, хто її хазяйка, але ж вона евакуювалася, немає ні контактів, а кішка залишилася. Ну і забрав її. Жирне.
Because of the rabies threat and the front lines moving closer to our team, this mission turned out to be a lot more complex than ever before. Thankfully, no one was hurt.
Был, конечно, прилет рядышком со зданием, но только стекла повылетали. Осталось целое. Вот это главное, самое главное.
Слава Богу, слава ЗСУ.
Yes, it is.
On our 4th mission to Ukraine, we completed 1,495 animals. That puts our grand total at this time to 5,500. In the morning, Christina called me, and I knew what she was going to say before she even spoke. She was heading to the Kakova Dam in Kherson to rescue animals. The dam in Ukraine was breached by the Russians on the 6th of June, 2023. She's always marching into danger, concerned about the animals and not about herself. This caused extensive flooding along the Dnipro in the Kherson Oblast. It was a horrible ecocide. There was a zoo just downstream, and over 300 animals drowned. It's a tragic, tragic event. The Ukrainian government still can't calculate how many people and animals died from this flood. Some territories are still occupied by the Russians, so the government can't get there to provide the aid that's needed or to count the dead. I'm afraid to imagine what they're going to find when they liberate those villages and go to these flooded areas. Anna was one of the first volunteers to come to the flood to help rescue animals. She is one of the most loving, caring people I've ever met. She spends her entire time helping rescue, feed, save, and take care of these animals.
Война принесла много горя. Очень много животных умерло от сердечных приступов. Я не ожидала, что животные будут настолько чувствительны. В любом городе вам люди рассказывают, как большое количество собак, особенно крупных, просто умирало от взрывов. Их сердце не выдерживало. Они более чувствительнее. Их сердце больше чувствуют опасность и несправедливость, чем наше. Поэтому, как отразилось на них, многие покалечены. У меня много коллег сейчас дома. Они пострадали как физически, так и морально. Некоторые города, которые деоккупированные села, собаки по-прежнему боятся любого стука, шума. Это им напоминает взрывы. И я думаю, что тем самым даже собаки и животные, которые выжили, Они укоротили себе жизнь и ухудшили качество жизни из-за войны.
Now she's world-renowned as a pet rescuer. She's a powerhouse. I truly mean that. She holds 15 world titles in weightlifting. We were having some very happy moments and then some very somber. Anna took us to some villages to look for some stray animals that we could vaccinate and gather up. And we went to these villages and just one after another was 100% rubble.
I walked through some of the destroyed homes and it's horrific. It's horrific what's happening here. Oh my goodness.
Боже, ризик мой, ризик. Смотри, какой там
Look at this one. That's got some damage. Can you imagine wearing that and that going through you? Back here, you know, you can see destroyed kitchens. You can see people where people are sitting, where people are living. And it's just, look at the damage. This whole place is completely destroyed. There isn't anything left. It's just leveled completely. There's no animals, there's no people, and all their belongings are here. You know, you can see how they were living. Where are they now? They're either dead or they're gone.
Я спортсмен, у меня спортивный режим. Но когда началась война, я не могла тренироваться. И ночью, когда ложишься спать, ты не можешь забыть этот кошмар. И, как это сказать, и начинаешь пить алкоголь, потому что без специальных снотворных уснуть нельзя после этого ужаса. К тому ужасу, который я вижу, привыкнуть нельзя. Ну, наверное, наша нервная система адаптируется, потому что, понимаешь, если мы опустим руки, победы не будет. А так хочется, чтобы она была. И она будет.
We decided to stretch ourselves for our 5th mission in August. We're going to do 2,000 animals this time. After the flood in the Kherson region, we decided to focus on the south of Ukraine. Anna had already gotten our clinic up and running before we arrived. It had been occupied and attacked by the Russians. The Ukrainian forces had liberated it, and our clinic was full of shrapnel and bullet holes.
We've got this clinic. It's not in the best shape. It doesn't have electricity, which means we can't use the autoclave and some of the other things, but we're doing the best we can. We'll do flea and tick medication, we'll sterilize, vaccinate, and then we'll return these little babies and give them a fighting chance.
We had multiple villages that we were working with White Angel, but Christina had arranged with Anna to do even more tails, as the Ukrainians call the cats and dogs.
I don't know if you've been to Auschwitz, but I visited years ago, and when you're walking through Auschwitz, you have this kind of empty feeling in your stomach and your heart, and you're sad. You can't even talk. I'm someone who can talk almost all the time, but in Auschwitz, I couldn't say a word. And this is the same feeling here. When you walk through here and you think about the pain and the destruction and the hurt and the loss of life that happened here, it's like going through a death camp from Germany. It is horrific. It's just beyond words.
We drove to Kherson. We could hear the shelling and the gunfire constantly.
If you will afraid dog, she will attack you. If you're not afraid, she will run away. I followed one dog. I found her, I shoot her, and then I understand that pressure from my injection is going out before I shoot her. So my injection and my shoot didn't work, and then I start to be very angry.
Are you still angry?
Yeah, and I need vodka to relax. Of course, better dry white wine.
We'll close that back door for you, okay? It's gonna be like a little noise, but don't worry. Everything will be fine. Okay? Yeah, it's gonna be okay.
Расстреливали, убивали, мы прятались, убегали, насколько могли. Очень рядом бомбило, естественно. Ни один дом, окна, крыши, это мы не считаем, что это повреждение. То есть это мы считаем мелочь. Бомбежки частые, когда нас освободили, неделя более-менее была тишина. Потом начались очень сильные обстрелы. Мы за это время просто привыкли к этим выстрелам. Мы научились различать, когда приход, когда выход, когда прятаться, когда убегать, когда падать на землю. На тваринцев повлияла психика тварин у многих очень сильно нарушена. Собаки крайне перепуганные, есть некоторые в депрессии, то есть они боятся каждого шороха, каждого крика, каждого шума.
Together with the volunteers, we achieved our goal. We sterilized and vaccinated 8,206 animals. Seems like a lot, but it doesn't change much. Until we get to the tipping point of 500,000 sterilized and vaccinated dogs and cats, the rabies will still spread like crazy.
Да, у меня есть приют. Конечно, так как я постоянно езжу в зоне боевых действий или, просто я неравнодушный человек, я создала приют. Но это не приют, как знаете, многие приюты — это конечная точка. То есть многие те, кто содержит приют, они берут такие, это животное идет на доживание. У меня приют — это временная дислокация животного, то есть оно, поступая в приют, стерилизуется, вакцинируется, чипируется, обрабатывается, если нужно, социализируется, и уже как полноценное, готовое, здоровое животное ищет свою семью, ищет семью, да.
Я не знаю, ну, мне кажется, должен быть какой-то порыв души. Ну, и, мне кажется, помогать могут только чистые сердцем люди. Именно искренне помогать животным.
She lived in a shelter since childhood. Like we took her since baby, and now she already found a family in another city, Odessa.
Собачка маленькая. Девочка, как зовут ее?
Она именует так, что...
Да давай зайдем во двор. Что ты тут возле?
Is she new home? You liking it?
Hi, Dan. I'm here.
Are you kidding? Oh, your mom is allowing her in the house? Is she a good dog?
She's a very good dog, but you know, first time when I found her, she was so scared. She afraid she bite people. When we trying to save more animals in her zone, all animals that we already saved, we send them to German shelter in Odessa. When I come to them, take them to my shelter, she was afraid. She was so scared, and people said that we don't know how we will transportate her because she is so aggressive and she's screaming when you come to her. But now, the most lovely dog. Now she's a little bit shy now because she sees you.
She sees me. She's like, Dan. Yeah, I scare most dogs. Christina's like, I'm eating my breakfast. Could you be quiet? I was quiet for 6 hours.
Dan can talk. Like, he doesn't stop.
Are you doing okay?
Yes, I'm doing okay, but I had one accident. The last our mission in Donetsk region, I was in contact with one dog who died because of rabies. The local people call us that in the local market, one dog bite 8 people, and they ask us to take this dog and take care about this dog and see what happened, why she bite people. I catch her and I take care about her, like give her water, clean after her, trying to feed her and also trying to treat her. In 3 days she died, and we sent her to lab and they said that she really has rabies. And now I get treatment because when I take care about her, her slime get into my eye. It was accidentally, actually. I'm trying to scratch my eye, and then I understand that, oh my God, I just touched the dog who has rabies.
Christina, this is the most terrifying thing that could happen. I mean, I can't even, this is what I've been worried about. And I have also some important news that I want to tell you that I'm, yeah, this is hard. So after the last mission, when I got back from Ukraine, I wasn't feeling very good. So my stomach hurt me, and had some back pain and leg pain and things like that. And I wasn't sick in Ukraine at all. I felt good in Ukraine, you know. You have to because you work all the time. But when I got back, I wasn't feeling well. And I just started going to see the doctor, and I've got some bumps on my neck, and they did some tests, and it turns out that I have cancer. And with cancer, the cancer that they think I have, they're not 100% sure. There's a big tumor in my pancreas, but it's a very bad type of cancer. So they, like I don't want to be over dramatic, but the lifespan is anywhere between 3 days and a year. But, you know, if you don't hear from me, you know why. We had an awesome time. We had a great time. A lot of hard work, but did a lot of good.
I thought that we will have more in future than we had.
Yeah, me too. Every day that we live as humans, a dog, to them is a week. And that's why dogs have so much fun, because they know how short their time is on Earth. They're always having fun. And you know me, I'm part dog. So I live like a dog. Every day to me is like a week. And I make the most of it. And you've helped me do that.
What are you gonna do with her? Oh, she wants to go.
Да, ты бежишь.
You're gonna get her fixed. I've always been a person who imagines what's next on the horizon. I can see this crisis is going to extend beyond Ukraine. Animals are crossing the border into the European Union. Not only will more animals die, but a lot of people as well. The solution is there. Local Ukrainian vets and volunteers. They're sterilizing and vaccinating in villages near the front lines, and these doctors serve as a lifeline for these animals. They're preventing a lot of future pain. Sadly, the magnitude of this problem dwarfs these organizations and the resources needed to really affect lasting change. 500,000 animals need to be sterilized and vaccinated in the next 4 years. I truly believe there are more people, communities, and organizations that can step in and take the helm, like the European Union. They can provide the right kind of funding and organizational support. I don't know if it's going to be my destiny to witness how this crisis will be solved. But I'm willing to fight and hopefully see who's going to rise to this challenge.
Ukraine.